All right, welcome to Dual Redundancy, the only podcast where you can hear all latest in television and entertainment news with too many hosts with exactly the same opinions. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen, and another one is
John Berwick, and the third one is
Kyle Bridger. I would say that I am the Scott to John's. We'll give you Lisey. We're married, John.
Oh,
And
cool.
we'll give Dave the psychopath, Jim.
Jim. Who's the actor?
Jim Dandy.
Dane something? Yeah, Jim Dandy.
Jim Dandy. It's actually Jim Dooley, I think, but Jim Dandy.
Yeah, Jim Dandy. I'm gonna probably screw it up, but Lisey, is that it's her story? Is that the story
Yeah.
we're talking about tonight when we talk
Lisey's story.
Lisey's story, the new Apple TV Plus drama series from Stephen King? We have a new show, new mystery starting, and then we're gonna wrap up a show that ended during our week off, the Mare of Easttown. So one show ends, another show begins. We're talking about both tonight, plus a lot of other things, including this first segment. And John, what is it?
in and out points.
In oder out. In oder out. In, out.
Yes, it is in and out points. A few weeks ago, we discussed the big Warner Media Discovery merger, and we mentioned in that segment how there was rumblings about a deal between MGM and Amazon. Well, it's official. In a bid to turbocharge its Prime membership, Amazon is acquiring MGM Holdings for $8.45 billion. The deal, still pending approval, includes a film library of around 4,000 titles, 17,000 hours of TV programming, including Bond, Rocky, and the Hobbit film franchises, classic Hollywood titles like Raging Bull, Thelma and Louise, and Silence of the Lambs, plus TV shows like Survivor, The Handmaid's Tale, FX's Fargo, The Voice, and Shark Tank. They're all there too. And even the premium cable Epix is a part of this deal. The only things really missing are some old classics of MGM, like Wizard of Oz, Gone with the Wind. Those were actually a part of a pre-1948 catalog that was sold to Warner Brothers in the mid-'80s. So that's probably a part of Warner Media Discovery. But no, they're getting everything else. A lot of stuff they're getting. A huge purchase. Let's get your thoughts, John. What do you think of the MGM Amazon deal?
That's crazy. I mean, we talked a lot about anti-monopoly stuff, and this is another one of those cases where is this like a thing? Can they do this? But I think it all depends. If this is all coming to like Prime, that could be kind of cool. I already have Prime. I wasn't gonna spend extra for MGM. If I could get it with that, cool. But is it gonna make my Prime go up? You know, I don't know. It could be a double-edged sword where, you know, does Amazon evaluate their content at a higher level now, and so you have to pay more? I don't know. I'm apprehensive of that, but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's always interesting with these like companies like MGM or even Sony. They have a huge library of stuff, but they don't have their own streaming service to, put it on. And it's like, do we want a giant streaming service like Amazon to take them, or do we want MGM to come up with their own streaming service for $4.99 a month? It's like, which one do you really want of those two options? Kyle, what do you think about this big deal?
I mean, I like the content idea of it. I like all the content that you just mentioned, possibly being available to me, being a Prime video member. So I do like that, but the moral view of this, I hate it so much because it's minimizing the number of media outlets, and the more that happens, it's controlling information, controlling a lot of content, to the point, and we're talking Amazon Prime, we're not just talking a media company. We're talking,
Yeah.
grocery shopping, all of these different types of ventures that they're in. And it's just a little bit scary to me, honestly. But if I'm looking at it from just a pure content entertainment perspective, it is intriguing. And I do like the idea of it, just as long as my, like John said, Prime membership doesn't go up for it. But if I can get this all for the same amount of money I'm paying for, it makes it, I feel like it makes it like a must-have service at that point.
Yeah, and it would certainly help for some of these things. You might not be able to even access a lot of these because, again, as I mentioned, MGM doesn't have a streaming service. So, like, you would
Yeah.
have to go. Well, maybe I have to go to Paramount Plus to watch Rocky, or
Yeah.
this service to watch Bond. And it's like you're jumping around and you don't know which is what and where things are. And now this month they're actually on Peacock, and they're just switching around so much. This is like,
Mhm.
okay, they're all there. Amazon, there you go. The one thing I hate about Amazon, man, they have the worst like search interface layout.
Yeah, they need to fix that.
You type in like the Americans. Okay, I want to watch the Americans. First thing that comes up.
Season
well,
3?
Yeah, it's like season 3. Okay. Oh, underneath that, an American flag. Okay, underneath that, it's season 4, season 1, season 2, and it's just like
Yeah.
put all the seasons together. Just make it nice and easy there, and it's just.
I wonder, honestly, sometimes if they do that, because what Prime is shady in that I feel like they try and get people to buy
The DVD coming in.
yeah, like
mail.
certain content,
Yeah.
because they mix in stuff that's like not Prime eligible. So it's like, oh, you kind of want this. And it's like, no, I just
Yeah.
want
I just
the
want to
stuff-
rent this
Yeah.
movie. Next thing you know, it's like, okay, you purchased it, $19.99. It's going to be in your mailbox in 2 days. And it's like, wait, I want to watch it now. I didn't know it was a physical copy. But the other part of this deal involves 2 quotes. One from Mike Hopkins, Senior VP of Prime Video and Amazon Studios. He said, quote, "The real financial value behind this deal is the treasure trove of IP in the deep catalog that we plan to reimagine." Jeff Bezos echoed Hopkins. He said, quote, "The acquisition's thesis here is really very simple. MGM has a vast, deep catalog of much-loved intellectual property. With the talented people at MGM and Amazon Studios, we can reimagine and develop that IP for the 21st century." Translation, we're getting Rocky the TV show, probably. We're getting everything coming back. Oh, you want Raging Bull origin story, even though that was an origin story. Like, you're going to get it all. You're going to get every single thing that you don't possibly want. A sequel to Thelma and Louise. No, that's not possible. But like, you know what I mean? Like, you're getting all that stuff. Does that make it worse there, Kyle? All the IP that they're going to develop.
Well, of course. I mean, you would hope that they would just have the content for us to stream, but they can't. Now they've got to make it a whole thing where, they're making new stuff to build upon the catalog. And, it is what it is. I mean, I'm not shocked by that announcement, but, you just kind of want the content, right? You don't really want to deal with, like, I want new ideas, like new stuff that's not related to something. People are creative. People have great minds. I don't know why they can't.
Well, yeah, it's become a thing now. It's like you might have written a script, but it's this great story, but unless it has a name on it, like, I mean, even for Cruella, I mean, you could have probably just told that story alone by itself. It would have been fine. People would have liked it, but no one probably would have instantly have seen it because it didn't have the IP on top of Cruella.
Yeah.
Like take WandaVision. It's like, okay, well, if that show just with 2 different people, would it have worked as well? As because it's like people have to get into the door, get through the clutter with all that IP Marvel billboard first, and then, James Bond TV show, or you could just have a secret agent TV show. It's like,
I don't want to hear anything more about streaming services and studios and the theaters and all. Because here's the thing, the jig is up. They're all intertwined now.
Yeah, they're all the same.
So there can't be any of this nonsense at the Oscars where it's like, we're going to block out Netflix or block out, because they're all, I mean, Amazon Studios was producing movies for this past Oscar season and the one before that. So at this point, it's all one.
Yeah.
You got to think of it as like everything is merging. So that award stuff, the Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, all these people should be in the mix, because that's where the audiences are now.
Yeah, definitely. One group not happy with this is Bond, James Bond writers. John Logan, a screenwriter for the Bond films like Skyfall and Inspector, penned an essay for the New York Times expressing concerns about this deal. He said, quote, "When I heard the news, a chill went through me. Bond isn't just another franchise, not a Marvel or a DC. It is a family business that has been carefully nurtured and shepherded through the changing times by the Broccoli and Wilson family. Bond's not content, and he's not a mere commodity." All right. What do you think about this? Obviously, now that they own Bond, they can maybe play around in this sandbox a little bit. At the end of the day, though, Broccoli and Wilson, those families are still in charge. They have these like ironclad assurances of artistic control. They decide who's James Bond, when the new movie's released. It's like, well, will that always be the case?
Yeah.
And so I guess that's what they're worried about. Are we worried about Bond? Is it just another franchise, or is it something special?
I mean, to me, I feel like Bond is special. I mean, the whole thing with MGM, MGM, I attached to James Bond a little bit from seeing that lion head roar from each time. But, here's the deal. When it comes down to content and you're working with new executives or whatever, I think it's whatever they want to do. That they own.
They bought it.
They own you. Yeah, they own you. So what are you gonna do? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you can do at that point. Unless you want to make jokes in your script about who you're owned by secretly. What else can you do? There's no recourse.
Who's it, M or Q or one of them?
Yeah.
Oh, what's the latest gadget? Sorry, Bond. I'm still waiting on my Amazon order. I'll get back to you in 2 days.
Sure.
I'll prime it to you tomorrow.
Yeah. A drone will come in with the delivery. It also has a machine gun on it to get the bad guy. But
yeah.
I get it. Bond is a special film, but it's also a special franchise. So I'm like, I see half and half with this. It's like, Bond's not content. It's not a franchise like Marvel. It's like, well, at this point, everything's a franchise. Everything is something.
The thing that I think I could agree with this op-ed or their thinking is James Bond, they don't really have like action figures or anything like that related to it, do they?
I can't think of action figures. They definitely have video games, or at least back in the day they did, but I can't think of, I don't remember seeing an action figure. I guess it's a weird thing because there's still PG-13 films, and there's definitely Marvel action heroes and bed sheets and stuff, but there's no James Bond lunchbox, I feel like, nowadays.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to get at is I think there's like a little bit of what this op-ed is saying, a little bit of integrity still there. This is not a total sellout of just like, we're going to plaster James Bond everywhere, and it doesn't have that special feel anymore. So I guess that would be the worry, is that, you're trying to repurpose this top brand and it might become watered down or lose the special qualities that it once had. If you did things like, action figures and all this other kind of nonsense.
Well, you can purchase all those probably soon on Amazon.com.
Yeah, probably.
All right here. Well, as mentioned a few weeks ago, we discussed the $43 billion deal to merge Warner Media and Discovery. Just to remind you, to sum it up, HBO, CNN, Discovery Channel, Food Network, HGTV, Cartoon Network, Animal Planet, Turner Sports, TNT, TBS, Warner Brothers, all that stuff. One company. And this
More.
week, we have an idea of what this new company will be called. John, I wish I asked you to get a drum roll, but we don't have it. All right, here we go. The big reveal of the name of the Warner Brothers Discovery merger. Warner Brothers Discovery.
Wow.
That is the name of the new company. What do we think of this? Wow, it really worked hard on this one.
Yeah, revolutionary for sure. Hey, I guess you got to go with the two brands that people know the names, I guess.
I guess. But it's like I'm shocked by this. There's no plus, there's no max. Like, how will I know I'm getting all my content and then some? I need I don't, it looks like just regular Warner Brothers and Discovery to me. I need a multiplier sign in there or something. I don't know. Warner Brothers X Discovery, like times. But how much money do you think they spent on this? Because I'm sure they had some, firm that they hired to come up with different names and different strategies and stuff. And it's like, yep, that's what we landed on.
Yeah.
Hopefully not much.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, if you think that's bad, wait until you see the logo. This logo was so heavily mocked that even Variety did a story on it and included some great digs from users on Twitter. Have you guys seen the logo? If not, I will send it to you right now in the
Is
chat.
it the one you sent via Twitter?
I might have. I send you guys so much stuff. I bug you with.
Just send it to me again. Just
all
to
right,
make
I'll send
sure
it
that I
to
have
you
the
again here. But John has it in the chat, or in the show, in the Twitch stream for everyone watching on Twitch. All right, let's see if I can send it to you. But yeah, to describe it, we have like this clip art image of clouds with the yellow Warner Brothers Discovery kind of like Superman font, kind of like clip art again, coming at you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw it. It's very it reminds me a lot of Wile E. Coyote. I don't know why. Like almost like that. It looks like an old Western type vibe, doesn't it?
Yeah, I could see it. It definitely looks old school, but man, again, it's just so basic. And
Yeah.
I pulled some of the Twitter digs here. Quote, glad to see Hollywood spending $0 using a free clip art CD with Windows 95 to design their logo. And then somebody else said, I had something like this as my screensaver in 1998. It rotated or twisted.
Rotate, but
it moved around the screen.
It looks like for real.
Yeah. Now, supposedly, I don't know if this was like after the backlash, but the Warner Brothers Discovery did come out and said, this isn't the final logo. It's just an initial word mark. The initial word mark.
Just kidding, guys. Just kidding.
Dude, I love how companies now just backtrack and go with whatever the popular opinion is, because it is just hilarious to me. It's like, oh man, we blew it. We need to go. Mind you, they probably have 85 people checking this.
Yeah,
and everyone's worried.
People had to sign off on this.
Yeah. Probably everyone is worried about their job. So this is great. This is fantastic. In an email, this is fantastic. I love this idea. Then it goes in. It's like, who blew it?
Yeah.
Who agreed to this?
Word Ducky in the chat said that's definitely XP with the shading. Yeah, Windows XP. That's definitely the vibe I'm getting. I think that's like a background from Windows XP.
Yeah.
But they also include a tagline on this, and I don't know if you spotted where it's from. It's from Humphrey Bogart, The Maltese Falcon, the stuff that dreams are made of. Warner Brothers Discovery, the stuff that dreams are made of.
Wow, they're setting a high bar for themselves, huh?
Very high bar. The stuff that dreams are made of. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, when I dream, it's the Property Brothers and Jake Tapper of CNN. That's what I'm thinking of, I guess. Yeah, but
tell me you weren't what you weren't dreaming of a Warner Brothers Discovery.
I'll tell you right now. the dream I thought of is way better than that logo. I'll come up with something by the end of the podcast with my eyes closed. I think I can come up with something, but okay, enough of them. Enough of that. One less than a point. AMC Entertainment. They're the latest meme stock, and they're skyrocketing in price. Nearly 600 million was raised by the movie theater chain after selling 11.5 million shares of the now higher price stock.
Mm-hmm.
And now AMC Theaters is ready to now pay back some of these nice investors with a new program called AMC Investor Connect. The cinema chain will offer updates and special offers like free large popcorns and special screenings to casual traders after they sign up. This is a bid to target online small investors encouraged by communities like Wall Street Bets. John, what do you think about the AMC Investor Connect?
Is that legal?
Legal?
Can you
Yeah,
give
it's like
people
insider.
prizes?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Is like
Yeah.
they're already getting something because they're invested in you. Now
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
because now it's like, oh, do I want free popcorn? I guess I will buy into their stock and then get free. I'm paying them. It's very
Yeah.
shady.
And then by me buying stock in this and also getting free popcorn, I'm also doing well because I'm investing in the company that I want to do well. It's just
the
this
money
seems
just
like-
circles around and
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, it seems like insider like trading weirdly.
Are they actively checking? Like, can I buy stock and then sell it and still get these perks, or do I have to like bring my stock certificate with me to
Your
the
monthly
movie? Or, like-
statement.
your
Yeah.
stock exchange number or something?
I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I'm not sure how they would continuously check, or I mean, maybe not anymore. But it would have been worth it to put down a couple bucks, when it was cheap to get free popcorn for for life potentially. But
Yeah.
maybe not so much now.
Yeah. So all I know is this program requires investors to be members of the AMC Stubs reward programs. And at first, that's where I was like, woo, woo. That was like a huge red flag to me. It's like, oh, you have to buy into this, but supposedly it's free to join at the lowest level. But then it is, if you want the 3 movies a week kind of thing, it's $19.95 a month. So it's like they're at least getting people to sign up for their service, getting them in the door, and then they can bombard them with ads and whatever. And oh, you can rent stuff through this, and oh, you want to see these films? How about doing $20 a month as well, in addition to the whatever stock you buy. So
It
they're
just sounds
trying.
like they're nickel and diming you for money. Honestly, it sounds like you're caught in like some kind of pyramid scheme.
Yeah, and sometimes with these like rewards things, it's like you have to spend like $100 to get. Oh, guess what? You earned a free soda, free small soda. You want to upgrade? That's going to cost you, but $100. It's like it's at the end of the day. Okay, great. You got a free large popcorn. You're invested in this company. It looks like things are going well, at least at the movies recently with the box office. So, all right. Good for them. The CEO, Adam Aaron, said, during my 5+ year tenure as CEO at AMC, I've taken great pride in the relationships I have forged with AMC's owners. With AMC Investor Connect, that effort in relationships building will continue even if our shareholders now number in the millions. After all, these people are the owners of AMC, and I work for them.
You know what's funny about that statement, and I just thought of this as you were reading it, is movie theaters and places like AMC will only innovate when they're required to do so. So why do they have the AMC stubs list? Because of Movie Pass,
Yep.
right?
100%.
And then with this whole movie debacle and the streaming service, they realized they needed to shift and do something else in order to get people's money. It's crazy how they will only do something if their bottom line is being hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the only incentive for movie theaters to change at all.
If it's not broke, why fix it? And they literally wait until the thing is like broken to even think about doing anything. And yeah, it's like we talked about on the podcast. It was like, it took them a good full year before they were like, oh man, we should do private screenings. It's like, yeah, people want to be in a private theater with the coronavirus. And it just took them a little bit long to catch up to other theaters doing that as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing I want to bring up in this because it kind of involves into a mini in and out point. He says, as owners of AMC, I work for them, these shareholders. Well, if he works for us, can he at least wear some pants in interviews? Gizmodo reported that during a chat on Trey Collins' Trey's Trades YouTube channel, Aaron's camera falls down, revealing that the CEO is missing pants.
What is with these
Yep.
people, man?
Now it's
What
it's
is-
hard to tell if he even has underwear on or if it's short shorts. But yeah, come on, put on some pants, put on some basketball shorts, put on some sweatpants, anything. You are wearing a suit and tie. Is that more comfortable now? To me, it's
I don't understand it. Like, just put on something. I mean, what I wouldn't even want to risk it. Like, I wouldn't even want to risk it. I would put on like some basketball shorts, or something.
Because even okay. I mean, right now, I would like to assume we're all wearing pants. I'm not going to make anyone stand up and test, but I think we're all okay here. And we're just doing a podcast. We're not the CEO of a company doing an interview. And then not only that, I'm on a stationary laptop. It's going to be very hard for my camera to flip over unless I physically flip it over. It looks like he's on his phone. He puts his phone up here, and then it's like we've done this whole Zoom thing for over a year. You guys don't know about this at this point. Put on some pants.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. And why risk it? Why risk it? You are going to make millions of dollars, and you could blow it by just not wearing pants. It's insane to me. You want to talk about the biggest like loss that you could have is just not wearing pants during a meeting in a Zoom call? You got to be kidding me.
I just don't get it. It's like, if you're bothering to put on a shirt and tie, it's just 2 more seconds. Just the next drawer in your dresser. Just come on. All right. That's it for In and Out Points tonight. We have a couple of shows to talk about. In order to talk about them, we have to go back. So guys, send us back.
Back in time.
We're back, baby.
Gotta get back in time.
All right. Lisey's story, the series premiere, Bull Hunt. It dropped Apple TV Plus June 4th. It's based on the 2006 Stephen King novel of the same name. Julianne Moore stars as a widow that becomes the object of a dangerous stalker obsessed with her husband's literary work. All right, Kyle, start me off. What did you think of this new Apple TV series?
So I'm going to preface this by saying Stephen King, I have mixed feelings about it. I feel like it can be very hit or miss, and he has a lot of stories, and not all of them are worth retelling through visual medium. With that said, a lot of stuff going on here in this show. I think it's going to be hard for us to kind of parse through it, being just the premiere. But it definitely has some supernatural kind of stuff going on with the husband, and definitely going to be dealing with some different storylines or timelines, I feel like, because we're in like, it's the false narrator, because we're in her dreams and then we're in her life, and I feel like those two things are going to collide. So there's some interesting elements there to it. I just worry that with some of the supernatural stuff, is that gonna like mess it up, cloud it up? Is it gonna be too fantastical? This is the type of stuff I worry about Stephen King stuff. Is it gonna mix well, the reality mix well with the fantastical, if that makes sense, which is what I'm always concerned about with this. However, Julianne Moore, Clive Owen, some great actors here. I love, both of them. And even the dude that's playing the villain is, I mean,
Dane DeHaan, I think.
Yeah, doing a really good job with it too. So the performances alone might be enough to keep me going. But this one is, it's a vibe check. Are you
Yeah.
vibing with what they're putting down?
Yeah, in this first episode, I don't know if I was completely vibing with it because, as you mentioned, it's a bit too much. There's a lot of stuff all over the place, and I worry about Stephen King because I like some of his work. I think there's numerous stories that he's written that are classics, some better than others, but I think he might be better as just maybe as a producer when it comes to TV. I
Mhm.
don't feel like King actually often writes for TV, and this actually series is going to be all written by him.
Okay.
But I feel like he's better as like a producer. I mean, if you look at best some of his stuff that I've liked, 11/22/63, Mr.
Right.
Mercedes, Castle Rock, at least the first season,
Yeah.
I feel like okay, I'm vibing with this. And then like kind of the later end of Castle Rock, or even second season of Mr. Mercedes, yeah, it gets a little supernatural and it gets a little fantastical, and I'm like, I'm slipping now. I'm slipping.
Mhm.
I like the classic kind of horror before we get to all the different tropes and things that we kind of squeezed into like this episode alone. I'll run through some of the stuff here. Oh, this is all in the pilot. I mean, you get the husband shot. The wife hits the attacker back with a shovel, which she kept and may be a clue on a mystery as well. She's having vivid nightmares and banging her head against a car window in real life. Her older sister is also self-harming, and her husband is also maybe around still, but is like a mermaid leaving clues for her. Oh, and then there's people with no eyes, and there's like a monster in the woods, and it looks like a sink that may be like full of blood, and it's like there's we're jumping, and it's like, and the issue I have with that is like we already started at 11, and like there's at least with like a lot of mystery shows or a lot of shows like this, you start off okay, everything seems normal. It's like, oh, seems a little out of place. Oh, it's still normal. Oh, that's something weird. This was like scary, weird. Scary. It was just like, okay, there's no like base level to start at that's normal. We were at 11, and even like the intro where it was just image after image, and it was like creepy swimming in a pond. Oh, the couple in the sheets. Oh, now there's a lighthouse. Okay, now it's a beach, and it was just like check, and it's so that's where I'm like, like, all right, King, reel back in a little bit, reel back in. Yeah. So, and I will agree with you. There's great cast. I mean, as you mentioned, the two before, Dane DeHaan, Jennifer Jason Leigh. There's so many people in it. I do say I worry sometimes with King, and even like with like Dane's performance of like this weird stalker, creepy guy, because immediately I'm like, oh, this reminds me of the weird, creepy guy, Brady from Mr. Mercedes. It's like the same exact age, cellar, weird stuff on the wall. I'm like, I've seen this before in your work in the last few years on TV, and I don't know. I have some other stuff I want to kind of run through, maybe more of like some nitpicks, but I think it would circle back to some of the main plot points of this episode. I want to start off maybe with this kind of opening we had at this like groundbreaking. The library's being built, and we have a shooting. Somebody from the crowd shoots the author Clive Owen, and we see Julianne Moore later. She has a book, and they have like all these like happy images of him with the shovel. And to me, this was crazy because like I know they were dedicating this library. He was breaking the ground, but literally 10 seconds after those photos were taken, he was shot. And it's like, who's decided? Oh yeah, let's keep. We already made the page of the book. We got to put these pictures in
the shovel book, shovel pics.
And it's just like, why are we including these images? And not only that is like, you would think that this shovel, who was later also hit with the assailant, would be evidence would be not allowed to have, but also reminder of this dark day for her, but it's also a clue. And I gotta ask, who put the clue tag on there? Because it made it seem like the husband is leading her on this scavenger hunt, but the husband would have been, not in a great shape at that point. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's
all connect.
Yeah, I think that's part of the mystery, and why it's so hard to even start with in the premiere is that, that is the question, because then we get to the psychiatrist or the the therapist or whoever that guy is for Lisey's sister when she's like sending her away to some rehab
Yeah.
facility, and the clue's already written down in some
Yeah.
book, and we see so clearly something's going
That's their
on.
plan.
Yeah, if there's already a plan in place from the husband or what the deal is, but yeah.
Yeah. And then and she was just so effing calm, Julianne Moore. In the scene where it's like, the guy comes out with a gun. Scott, he has a gun. It's like I'd be
Yeah.
like pushing him down on the ground. I would
Yeah.
scream. I would like, Scott, he has a gun. It's like, okay. Like,
That's why I feel like there's something. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
something's
something
going
on here where I don't, because even when he's not in the room at the hospital, I would be like, you're there and now you're here. But he says to her, you know where I was.
Yeah.
So she's aware of some kind of fantastical kind of realm that he's living in, because this guy also breathes some kind of life
Yeah.
into the sister.
And that's like, I don't know if he's some kind of weird mermaid water, because like some weird water kiss life thing. He's watery footprints back to the hospital bed, and there's something going on with this pool, because even in the beginning I'm like, wait, is it a pool? Is it a pond? It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And she's swimming in it too. Is she feeling something?
Yeah.
She's hitting her head against it, almost having a little bit of a psychotic break, like her older sister definitely later has with some incidents of self-harm. So there's something's in the water.
But then again, the sister mentions when she's having her psychotic episode that we never find out there. That sounds like she's married to someone or worried about somebody cheating on her. Is that Julianne Moore's character?
Mm.
Because there's a line later in the show where Julianne Moore's on the phone with somebody and is like, oh yes, he loved all my sisters. And I don't know in what context that means. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's very, very weird.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and it this stalker kind of character, the creepy guy, calling up Julianne Moore's character, demanding that, hey, release the unpublished works here. The world needs them, and there's something with this work that, like,
release the Snyder cut.
Pretty much, it's that same exact guy, and there's something with the work, because when the assailant shot him, he's like, get out of my mind, you're in my mind. So I feel like there's some kind of like, everyone in this world is acting like this guy's writing is like the Bible.
Yeah.
It's like this revolutionary thing. So like, there must be something in this work that's like leading somebody to something, and this guy wants it out so much. But it's interesting to me because I feel like Julianne Moore's character, I don't know if she like fully sees that, and it's kind of just like, she's just like, oh, the wife to this guy, oh, you're doing your writing, and it's just like everyone wants this work to be released, and it's like, Julianne, just release it. Who cares? Just move on. Just like publish it, get it out of your house. Everyone will stop bugging you.
Well, you know what's pretty wild that I just thought of is that the stalker dude has parallels to, if you want to talk about a famous shooting, the John Lennon, right? The guy read Catcher in the Rye, became obsessed with that, ended up shooting John Lennon. Guess what they reference in the show? Yoko. They call her. He called her Yoko. So that's a weird kind of connection.
That definitely has to be a connection
that I just kind of made, because it was too real. Because it seems like one of those things where like maybe Stephen King wrote it from that kind of perspective of like, somebody that's really stalkerish or really into a novel and goes way too far with it, kind of thing. Maybe this
talk
is
about
just
misery. Yeah,
seriously.
But a lot going on in this. I don't think we'll figure it all out tonight. I just think for me, at least right now, I'm gonna wait. Maybe with a binge, maybe it'll be easier to kind of follow the mystery. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
just read the novel. I don't know. But yeah, right now I think there's just so much going on that it's like hard to see what's important and concentrate on the actual story because I feel like
Yeah.
there's just too much visuals, there's too much tropes, there's too much going on. But
Yeah, there is a lot going on, and I mean, it would be easier to watch this in a binge so you can keep all the details straight. Especially those random just shots of like, why is there
yeah,
like a embryonic placenta like thing floating in a sink? It's weird. I mean, don't know what to make of it.
I don't know. I don't know either. You talk about watching it in a binge and helping with the mystery. That could lead into our next show, Mare of Easttown, the finale, Sacrament. It dropped on May 30th. Now, we discussed the premiere in 338, and this Pennsylvania crime drama miniseries concluded with the reveal of Aaron's murderer. So, spoilers will be coming. So, that's your warning. We are going to talk about the finale of Mare of Easttown and spoil it for the next 10 minutes or so. Now, I watched week to week. Kyle, you ended up catching up with a binge. How was it on the binge? Did it all work out and connect? And how was it?
Yeah, I felt like yeah, I was kind of late to the party on Mare of Easttown, but I caught back up in a binge, and I liked it that way. I was able to keep a lot of what I felt like were a lot of the details together, and kind of make sure all that aligned. And I actually I enjoyed it in the binge. I felt like yeah, yeah, I week to week, I didn't keep up with the discourse that was going
Yeah.
on, but I was able to see it by the finale, and then I you know, got
Yeah.
along that way.
Yeah, because this show definitely built as it was going on. It started off, people were liking it, but I feel like each week and each week and each week, it just kept building, especially like those last 3 weeks or so when they showed they weren't messing around. I mean, episode 5, when we lost Evan Peters' character, I was
Mhm.
like, oh,
Yeah.
all right. We got 2
Yeah.
episodes left, and it seems like this story wrapped up. And they did a kind of very interesting detour with the show because Aaron, the death of Aaron, was like the focus for the first episode or two. And then we went off on another case, kind of really focused on the missing girls, and we
Mhm.
did that for a few episodes. And then, yeah, when that concluded in episode 5, then we went back to the original story and concluded. So I think it was an interesting way to do it because it's like, maybe you couldn't do everything and kind of tell this whole Aaron story in just like the first 3 or 4 episodes because yeah, it would be very short, self-contained. It wouldn't be that
Mhm.
long of it. But this way you could expand it and you could really kind of milk it out and make you kind of like, wait, what was that again? And introduce more characters and um yeah, it's some of those things, as I just mentioned, maybe was not the best parts of the show, and I'll mention that a little bit later. There was a little bit too much going on. It was maybe a little hard for me to completely be in tune every week. Wait, who's that? Like, what's that name? That person looks like that character. Was that the teenage girl that, is,
Yeah.
the
I mean, yeah,
it's so
there
it's like there was a lot of like things I might have missed here and there watching it week to week. But I think I
yeah.
got the general gist. Um,
Yeah,
by
I
the
think so
end.
too. I think a couple of characters got left out a little bit. They kind of introduced this Richard dude
Yeah.
as like this love interest, but then he
Mhm.
kind of goes away, and then they kind of try and bring him back in the
Well, yeah, that
finale, and
was
that feels forced.
like a big fake out too, because I was so convinced. Okay, Guy Pierce, you got Guy Pierce, big name, and just an ordinary side character in the end. I was like,
Yeah.
I was expecting, I'm like, there has to be something with this guy. He just comes into town, it's like, okay, he's trying to come up with a crime now. It's like, it's Guy Pierce. I mean, this could have been anyone. It's like, no, they faked me
Yeah.
out with a big name.
Yep.
And then there's some stuff where I feel like tonally it kind of jumped around a little bit. I mean, I guess you can't have it just be, sad gray Pennsylvania every week, but it was like parts of like randomly it would just feel like a wacky rom-com with like the dinner and bar scene with like Evan Peters' character, and then it became like a sitcom at one point when Siobhan's like ex is hanging in the cellar, and then
Yeah.
Siobhan and the new girlfriend stumble in, and there's all this screaming, and then it
Yeah.
knocks out Gene Smart, and it was just like, if there was a laugh track on the scene, it would be perfect. Like it,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, and that's what I was worried about with you, Kyle, because you asked me halfway through at one point, oh, is it worth going in? And I'm like, I mean, I like it. I'm definitely involved in it, but I'm like, I don't know.
Is it gonna pay off?
Is it going to pay off? There's so many side stories and characters. And in the end, I think that all the main ones did. Everything that needed to connected. And I love the amount of like, there was a lot of like mother-son, mother-daughter storylines. It was a lot about that theme of like kind of family and the parent or the parent-child relationship. The stuff that I don't know if we really needed was the stuff with Siobhan and the radio station girlfriend.
Yeah.
I feel like we spent a lot of time on that for very little reward. I feel like it was really kind of like almost a setup to get Siobhan mad, to kind of freak out, unleash on the mom at one point. And it's like, was this all worth it? Because really, couldn't she have just had a X at any point and then gotten mad that night? Or I feel like that was the only reason it was there. Because for a long time, people were like, well, we're spending so much time with Siobhan. Siobhan must have been the killer at this point,
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like the way that they unfolded and told the story of the son that killed himself. I felt like they did a good job with that, and mixing that in with, all the other stuff that was going on. So, I mean, they were able to tell that story along with, because I guess to Mare, they kind of interrelate, her trying to find these girls, and then that happening.
There's so many single parents in this town, so many single mothers, and taking care of kids that aren't theirs. And it's just like everyone just has a broken family in this small Easttown. And one family, has a really rough ending to all this is, well, I guess we'll talk about the killer. We got this finale where it seemed like almost everything was solved in the first 10 minutes. And we're like, oh, is that it? And then obviously there was a lot more to it, and it kept unraveling a little bit. I had the penultimate episode, they were making it seem like it was Billy. And I was just, I had a strong suspicion myself. I'm like, I don't think it's Billy. It's just the way that his brother John is talking to him. Oh, you need to say it. It was like he was pushing it on him. I'm like, okay, well, that's a big red flag for me. So I didn't probably expect it to be the son. Throughout the entire series, there was so much talk of like men taking advantage of younger women, especially of like Aaron, whether it was the priest or even Roy from The Office as her old teacher, and like all these things. It's like, so I was expecting, okay, John, it was the dad in the end, but no, instead it was the son trying to save the marriage, and it was the John's son instead here. What did you think of the big reveal, and did everything connect with that?
Yeah, I mean, it did work. I didn't think it was Billy either. Just with the way it was going on. But it was a nice kind of throwaway for the father to be like, oh, I saw him with like blood on, so, and when John knew all along and was, so it's like, oh man. So that's kind of a cool little detail there. But yeah, it's just, it's killer. And it goes to show you it was really a story about family, because it just crushes this entire family. And I mean, Lori, who's supposed to be what we assume is best friends with Mare, is now lying to try and save her family. And
what a performance by Julianne Nicholson as Lori in the final episode. I mean,
she does
just having her family torn apart, and just overall the entire ensemble. I mean, whether it was Kate Winslet, Evan Peters, Julianne Nicholson, it was a great ensemble, a lot of great performances. I think overall, if you ever, I mean, at this point we spoiled it, but for some reason, if you jumped ahead and just hearing this now, I definitely say go back and watch this one. When it comes to HBO mysteries, comparing it to like The Undoing or some recent stuff, it's like this one, I feel like, connected a bit better, had a little bit more going on for it.
And Kate Winslet is great. Now I want to talk to you about the ending, though. because I didn't really think of this because I just thought of it as like, oh, she's turned a corner, she solved the case, and now she's like happy to be a mom. There's another way you could interpret that final moment. Do you remember what she does?
She goes up to the attic. Yeah.
Could she be going up there to kill herself?
Anything is possible. I think I'll go with the more of the closure kind of thing. She finally
Yeah.
like is going up there to, because that's where her son passed.
Mhm.
But I think that's where I'm leaning towards. She's kind of closed that kind of thing on her life and is
Yeah.
ready to move on from that. But especially
That's how I interpreted it too. But
and I think that's how HBO is going to interpret it because Mare, this finale of this mini series, is the most watched episode on HBO Max. So I mean, again, it's been only like a year of HBO Max, but it's still done quite well.
Mhm.
The ratings rose each week, and are we going to get another season? Are we going to get season 2
Well,
of Mare of Easttown?
They said, oh, maybe if we're feeling it
Yeah.
or if we feel like we can do something good with it.
Play this clip. Let's see. The Emmys are in September. In October, after this show wins Best Miniseries, another season will be announced.
Yeah.
That's my guess. That's my guess. Right now, you want the awards buzz. It's a mini series. You're gonna get all the recognition, just like Big Little Lies season 1. Surprise, we're back.
Yep.
I'm still gonna play the clip if it doesn't happen.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Play it.
We'll put it for ice cold takes. That's what we'll put it. Now I'm gonna say something. One last thing about the show. Sorry. I feel like the Evan Peters dying was pure shock value, because really, what is his character to the show? I mean, he's a likable dude, so we feel bad because he's likable and he wants Mare.
Yeah,
but
like this like naive, like new. He's like a younger cop, and it's like he got mixed up, and his life taken away. But
but besides that, there's really nothing like holding him to the story. You know what I mean? Because Mare's like
he's
the
collateral
lead.
damage.
Yeah, Mare is the lead. Like, and we have all that. So it just seemed like this character that, hey, we can get rid of, because what does he really honestly mean? And then it works out because Mare is now on her own and has to solve the case on her own. You know what I mean? So it's just like this.
And then she doesn't have to choose between the two boys.
Yeah.
Because good point. And that's one finale that wraps up Mare of Easttown. We got one last segment, and it's like a little kind of check-in of what we've been watching on our own, because we've had a week or two to do things on our own, and it's just maybe like a little quick check.
Quick check.
Yes, and we talked about one finale. Kyle has seen another very important and historic finale because he finished a certain comedy series. Tell me about it, Kyle.
Yeah, we got to go back to when I was first talking about this, because that's exactly how long it took me to watch this show. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, so I saw all of Seinfeld. I watched from episode 1 all the way till episode 23 of season 9. So, man, I'm gonna miss this show. I mean, I can always go back and watch it, but it was just a lot of fun along the way. Some iconic episodes I've already seen, some episodes that I hadn't seen before that I absolutely loved. One in particular was the library, the one where he has like the library cop, where he has an
an early episode.
Yeah, that is a good one to me. I loved it. Overall, I like the entire series. The beginning feels a little rough, feels like they're getting their footing, which is totally understandable. Still some quality episodes there, but I think the highs for me are right there in the middle. Maybe 4, I think, was the one. 4 or 5, 3 or 4, 3, 4, 5 in there are really, really, really awesome. I did like the later stuff, but it's like their evolution. They just feel a lot angrier in
Oh,
season
yeah.
9, and it feels like almost Larry David going into his Curb Your Enthusiasm
Because
mode.
what's
After
interesting is
that.
actually, so there's like a lot of Seinfeld fans have like, they like the either early stuff, like the first half, or they like the later stuff. I think I'm more on like the later-ish stuff because I feel like it's
Uh-huh.
just so fast. Those first couple seasons are very slow. There's one story and it's Jerry's story, and that's it. And
Uh-huh.
it's one style, and there's definitely classic episodes there. But actually, Larry actually leaves as a showrunner in season 7.
That's
So the last 2
wild.
seasons are mostly Jerry and like the writers there.
That's funny.
And then
That's
I mean, he
cool.
comes back for like the finale and stuff, which we'll
Yeah.
talk about in a second. But I'll ask you a couple questions real quick. You can rattle them off. I mean, I guess you already mentioned your favorite episode. Do you have a favorite of the core 4? Your
Favorite of the core is, I think for me, it's got to be Kramer.
Kramer.
Yeah, just because he's, dude, comedic, like
Physical comedy of-
action,
yeah.
physical, so good. I mean,
Yeah.
how can you compare? I mean, he would just do something random, and you couldn't help but laugh. It's just so absurd. So I feel like Kramer. I like George a lot too.
I would always go back for it. As a kid, I loved Kramer. Now I love George. It always goes back around. Do you have a favorite like side character, a mini character, maybe a guest star that's come in and?
I actually love Jay Peterman.
Jay Peterman.
Yeah, I love George's father.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
Frank, yep.
those.
We're back, baby.
Yeah, I know those two are.
Did you get to that episode and you're like, I know this one?
Yeah, yeah, yes. I've been practicing. Yes.
And I guess real quick, thoughts on the finale. Obviously, a very controversial finale when it first aired.
See, I actually even watched the clip show and everything.
Yeah.
It felt like another clip show in a way because they were bringing back these old characters and they even showed old clips to give evidence and all this stuff. So it almost felt like a clip show 2.0 with a storyline on top of it. I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was like the greatest finale ever, but I mean, it serves it got all the characters together. What more could you want? I mean, I don't think it was. I don't think it was like fantastic, but I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I think they kind of screwed up when they did it because I think they aired that like clip show before the finale, and it's like if you didn't have the clip show, I think the finale people would have liked it more.
Yeah,
just because it's like, well, we already just saw these clips, and it's like Seinfeld was known for all of its like different characters and interacting, so you got all those people back, and it's a nice way to have everyone tie together. You can't just do what you're going to have them just do a normal episode of.
Yeah.
It's like, you got to do something for the finale. And I think it's for a show about nothing,
Yeah, no, I thought it was fine. Nothing crazy spectacular to me, but I thought it was fine. I just was confused by that. It just felt like an extra like clip show on top of it.
All right. That's Seinfeld. We'll have to wait and see what his next show is going to be on a quick check. But John, you've been playing some video games. What do you got going on?
Yeah, this is going to be I'll try and keep it short. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
Quick check. Quick check. Over the last year, I've been playing through the Yakuza series. It starts with 0. So far, it goes up to 7. I think there's 4 or 5 spin-offs. I'm focusing more on 0 through 6 right now. So the first 7 games. And boy, this is a crazy series. Let me put it plainly. The juxtaposition between a hardcore brawler fighting story and the insane side stories that he gets into is unparalleled in anything I've ever seen. I don't even have the words to explain it. You'll go from this story that subverts itself several times over throughout the course of the thing, where somebody betrayed somebody else long ago and is now doing it, blah blah blah, to looking in on this one gang of people who like to like dress up in diapers and pretend they're babies, and then you got to fight them. But then you're back to this other clan that's has a helicopter that's following you on the highway, and you're trying to shoot rockets at them to try and it's insane. And then on top of all that, it has this plethora of side mini games, things like using like the crane, the UFO games, golf, spear fishing, all these regular fishing, finding cats. There's just so many weird side things that you can do, and it follows the story of this one guy, Kiryu, basically from his introduction to the Yakuza to his retirement, if you want to put it that way. And I think I went and looked. I played almost 400 hours this year of this story so far, because now I'm on 7, which is a different character, but I'm still going. So and I think I started in June of last year, so I'm almost, my year is almost up to get through them all. But crazy, absolutely recommend looking up some better synopsis than these. You can literally watch a 4-hour-long video on one of the 7 games, let alone details about all of them. So it's definitely worth your time to check out if you're into like that kind of brawler type game.
It sounds very Japanese.
It is
by your description.
So
your description is
the whole
very
game
Japanese.
is in Japanese, so everything's in Japanese. You're reading with subtitles.
But just even like the description makes it sound like one of those like little games where they're like, you know, going through the.
A lot of the games are like that, and then, like I said, the other half is dead serious, hardcore like drama, which is, I think it really strikes the balance, and it lets you kind of choose your balance. If you want to go do all the drama stuff first, and then do all the lighthearted stuff after. If you want to mix them in, I kind of like mixing them in. But yeah, it's if you haven't played it, Yakuza 0 goes on sale often enough. You can get it for PlayStation. I believe it's on Xbox now and PC. So definitely give it a check out.
So you played almost 17 days, 24 hours worth of Yakuza in a year. That's insane. That's wild.
And that's not even including some of the other games. Yeah, 2020. Only in 2020.
Only in 2020. Well, sounds like a lot. John. I'm not sure if I'm ready for that. I'll tell you what I did do. After 15 months, I made it back into a theater. I went to like the small indie theater, had its grand reopening complete. It had the new ventilation, socially distanced seats. So I double masked up, and I went to see A Quiet Place 2. And I went in thinking, okay, did we really need this? Because the first one I think is solid, standalone. You don't need any more. And in this one, I left this one thinking, okay, solid, good, probably on par with the original. But for me, it was nothing really like kind of revolutionary, and nothing makes it different from part 1 to part 2. And everything you expected is there. Great sound design. There's a great opening action sequence that you really is like you're put into the head of some of the characters, with the sound design of what they would be feeling in those moments. And the rest of my quick check, don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything else. I'll keep everything broad here with my review. But I will say the rest, I feel like you have the same kind of old horror tropes. This film was definitely like a setup film for the final part. There was a part, well, I mean, at the end, I was honestly shocked how abrupt this film ended. I honestly thought we had another act to go, and then it cuts to black, and I'm like, directed by, and I'm like, that's it? Like, I really thought there was going to be a little, like, more. It's definitely, I feel like, it's setting up the next part. And
that's annoying when films do that. I don't like that. That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, like, it had a moment. It had a resolution, but, like, it definitely was like, okay. Like, even there was something where it's like, you could have tacked on 5 minutes of just what I'm sure the first 5 minutes of the next movie are going to be.
Yeah.
You could have put that in here, but no, they didn't. And I will say I do have like a hard time, I feel like, connecting with this family. I don't know if it's the lack of dialogue but like I'm just often questioning their motives and decisions. And there's one character especially, I have zero idea why he did what he did in this film. And okay, he's a child, but still, it's like, what are you doing the whole time? Like, wait, why are you doing this? And it's sad because even after 2 films, I don't even know the guy's name. It's the kid, Honey Boy. Like, I think that says everything you need to know right there, that after 2 films, I don't know any of the characters' names outside of Emily Blunt and John Krasinski. I don't know what their names are. But overall, it's solid. It's good. It's just I'm not as high on it as most people. I think I will say I think people are a bit biased. I think they kind of forgot what a movie theater felt like the last few years with like the home audio and iPad screens, because people are like, this is it. This is the best one, better than the first. Oh, is it? It's like, okay, calm down. Calm down.
Take it easy.
Take it easy. It's good. It's good. It's a fun time at the theater, but we didn't reinvent the wheel here. Okay. That's all I'll say. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's it. Quiet Place 2.
I still want to check it out.
Oh yeah, no, definitely think you should check it out. Definitely check it out. It's just, again, you know, I don't know if it was the $850 or whatever I spent on the summer movie auction. Speaking of, real quick before we leave, I want to kind of give a quick update with that. That was our last podcast before we went on our little break here. For those who don't remember, we kind of auctioned off 3 films apiece with the films we were looking forward to this summer. To run through them real quick, Kyle had Black Widow, Space Jam: A New Legacy, and Candyman. John had Free Guy, Cruella, and The Tomorrow War. And I had Old, A Quiet Place Part 2, and Luca. And we had some people on Instagram and Twitter reach out and kind of say, I asked, who are you going to the movies with this summer? And first we got Zach. He came in and says, I want to pick and choose from each. And I'm like, well, that's not how it works.
Oh my God.
Tell me what you want. So he said his top 3 are Black Widow, Free Guy, and Luca. So I guess it's a little bit of each, but then he ended up saying a little bit more of a description. Overall, I may have to go with Kyle. Space Jam has the nostalgia for me, but Cruella looks like a fun watch, and I can't do scary movies. Sorry, Dave. It's like, I don't know, man. Kyle has Candyman. I think Candyman's going to be scarier than The Quiet Place. That's I don't know what he's saying here. So I don't know. His vote kind of goes every which way, but I guess we can give that one to Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
I did get a vote though from Mark. He says it's close, but it's David. So.
Oh my God.
Close between me and David, right?
Yeah. Well, sure. I mean, Zach did mention Cruella. It looks like a fun watch.
Hey, I know.
A sequel coming.
I know. Rojas said that he liked Cruella.
All right. I guess. Well, John will let us know when he checks out Cruella this summer. It's on his top 3 films of the summer. I got one of mine done. Come on, guys. Let's go. All right. Well, next week we will talk about another summer movie. Didn't get drafted, didn't get picked, but In the Heights. We're going to break it down, the new musical film, plus the much anticipated Loki, the series premiere. We'll talk about that as well. You can find episodes of the podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, the blog, dualredundancy.com. And of course, we're live on Twitch, twitch.tv/dualredundancy. I'm asking John live on the podcast. We good to go back to Tuesdays?
Yes, sir.
All right. Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern on Twitch. And I want to thank both you guys for joining me tonight, for watching these shows, and for John for directing this show. Couldn't do it without you guys.
Yeah, man.
All right. Until next time, I'm David Allen.
I'm Jeff Berwick.
And I'm Kyle Bridger.
And that's all we got for Dual Redundancy. Goodbye, everybody.